This is for the brothers who ain't here. For the strong brothers missing in action. Mentally and physically. Somebody tell me what happened. Like my main man, Big Willie Grant, who was shot in the back by two New York City cops the day before his 21st birthday. And remember that dime store pimp, Smooth Black Daddy? Yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Harold Bell. This is part 2 of the show titled Dr. Martin Luther King and His Dream. Is it alive or is it dead? As you heard in the introduction, the brothers who ain't here, 30 years ago, I played this song. And you heard in that song about Big Willie, who was shot in the back on his 21st birthday by two cops. Does that sound familiar to you? Here it is 30 years later, and the same thing is happening in our community. So I want to know, is Dr. Martin Luther King's dream, is it still alive or is it dead? I mentioned earlier about the report, the Economic Policy Institute report that came out during Black History Month, saying that 50 years after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, in a lot of our cities, man, were burnt beyond repair. It took us over 20 years here in Washington to recover. And we didn't recover because guess what? We no longer have those places where we used to live. Gentrification, they call it. So when we stop and talk about the dream, is it a dream or has it become a nightmare? That's what I'm trying to find out. Because 30 years later, we're hearing the same kind of comments that aired on Inside Sports in 1988. We're being sold out by our own people. We're talking about the pimps in the pulpit to the pimps on Capitol Hill. And they know who they are. Our children's blood is flowing in the streets. And it has been for decades in the inner city. But now, our kids' blood is flowing in our classrooms, in hallways all across America. And now the kids have taken to the streets. Teachers are leaving their classrooms because they have been underpaid for so long. Our teachers have been totally disrespected. And this is not the first time I've said that. I tell our kids all the time when I talk to them, your heroes ain't got no business being a guy who shoots a basketball, catches a football, or hit a baseball out of the stadium. Your heroes should be your parents and your teachers, that people that you can touch. See, young people, I tell them, you didn't come out of your mother's womb with an AK-47, wearing a Ku Klux Klan robe, selling drugs, or using the N word or F word, MF word. This is all learned behavior. It's our fault. We have dropped the ball across the line. Let's return back to my show, Inside Sports, which aired on WUST radio in 1988, and listen to some of the comments as we ask, has Dr. King's dream turned into a nightmare?
Is King's dream alive, dead, or dying? Before I go back to the telephones, there's one other issue I want to take up in sports. As you know, Proposition 48 is back in the news again. And I'm going to take a couple paragraphs from USA Today to bring you up to date. It said the NCAA put more teeth in Proposition 48 Wednesday, voting to deny athletic scholarships to incoming freshmen who don't meet its academic standards. Angry critics bared their teeth. I have no confidence at all in that racist organization making decisions on behalf of black youngsters, said Temple basketball coach John Chaney. They've gone far beyond what I figure anybody who considered themselves interested in education would go. The Southeastern Conference sponsored proposal was voted down by NCAA convention delegates Tuesday. It was reconsidered Wednesday and passed 163 to 154 and is scheduled to go into effect in 1990. Now, Proposition 48, since it has taken effect, 90% of the ineligible athletes in our colleges have been black, who have not been able to become eligible for athletic scholarships. Only 10% have been white. Now, John Thompson today is protesting Proposal 48. You know, I gave John Thompson one of my awards is what you see is not what you get. Here we go again. We'll be the bad guy again. Now, John Thompson's protest is that he's going to walk off the floor at the tip-off of the game when they play ball through college today. Now, John Thompson put a lot of thought in this, folks, because I know how his mind works. See, John Thompson's going to come out a winner regardless. Of course, if Georgetown wins the game, he's a genius because he prepared his coaches right. If they lose the game, he's a martyr. He's a guy that stood up and to the NCAA. Hey, let me tell you something. He's not really standing up. John Thompson wanted to stand up. You know what he would do? He would boycott the Big East tournament. He would boycott the NCAA finals when they come about. But see, John Thompson is not going to do this because you know what? It's going to cost the Georgetown University himself a dollar bill. See, Martin Luther King never based anything that he did on a dollar bill. This man made the supreme sacrifice. If y'all get caught up in what John Thompson and the white media say that he's doing for us, you crazy. This is not no sacrifice that John Thompson is making today. I want you to stop and think about it. If John Thompson really wanted to make a sacrifice, he said, we're not going to the Big East tournament and we're not playing in the NCAA finals. And see if Father Henley backs him then, because then it's taking money from Georgetown University. All this is a business decision what John Thompson has made today, folks. So don't get caught up in the front page story of Washington Post about what he's doing for black folks. I mean, it's so easy to read through. I can't believe that we get caught up in this kind of thing. The sacrifice that John Thompson is making. What you see is not what you get. The number to call is 462-3313. I'm going back to the telephone. Inside Sports, you're on the air.
Hello, my name is Pat, and I like to say that I think the dream is still alive, but the dream is alive in saving people, and those people who are still struggling for progress, and it's dead in those people who are sitting around waiting for other people, certain blacks, to do everything. Like our Reverend Jesse Jackson is alive with him. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Inside Sports, you're on the air.
Yes, Harold, I'd like to make comment in reference to your talk show today. And what I believe is that I believe that Martin Luther King's dream is still alive, but I believe also that our leaders today, the people who lead us and, who kind of give us some direction, need to step out into the forefront more and show some more leadership as Dr. King gave to us. I believe that blacks today should stop pitting themselves against one another. I believe that we should all have some type of goals and some directions because we need direction today. The young people, they need the leaders to stand out to guide them. Dr. King stood out and he gave us something. He gave our parents something to hold on to. And we don't have that today. Being a young person, I can see that the young people have no values. They don't know which way to go. And all they think about is the almighty dollar. And that's why we won't never gain. We'll never get ahead because we believe that the white man's beating us with this, the white man's beating us with that. But it's us and ourselves. And if the blacks want to grow, if the blacks want to be successful in life, they have to arm up and they have to join together. And they have to believe that values and goals and hard work and striving will get them ahead. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Very good. Inside Sports, you're on the air.
Yes, I was just wanted to say that I do believe that Martin Luther King's dream is still alive. And I agree with the gentleman that just spoke that we need to get together. A lot of our criminals and things which are in the jails are there because of crime of black on black. And I think that is a disgrace to the Martin Luther King dream. I think we need to band together more with the injustices that we see that we say are perpetrated by the white man, but we do so much harm to ourselves when we talk against one another and when we act against one another. We tend to have jealousy when one person makes it, and instead of encouraging them and to get others to join in that also. I just think we need more togetherness and more harmony within our own race. And that is my idea.
Thank you very much for your comment, honey. The number to call is 462-3313. What our callers are really saying, and I got to agree, is that really we're all in this boat together.
Yeah, we're all in this boat together. You know, a lot of what was said is true, that we need to come together, that there's too much black on black crime. We're filling the jails, probably the population in the jails across this country, 60% are people of color, maybe 70%. But what we don't understand is why there's so much black on black violence and murder is because what has happened, when you put a people all in one community, like Section 8 housing, like people who can't afford the mortgages, what they're going to do is they're going to hurt the person closest to them when they become frustrated. When you're not given an opportunity to have success in America because there are unfair wages and unemployment, education in our school systems are just off the charts. So it's not about, making excuses. All people of color are asking for is an equal opportunity, and they're not receiving it. So I want you to think about that hard and clear when people come to you and say, well, you're killing each other. There's too much crime black on black crime going on. It's going on because they won't let us escape from the ghettos or these Section 8 housing. Now they're telling us, even though they said that education is important, high school, college, but now the Economic Policy Institute is telling us it does not make any difference whether you get a college education or high school education. It does not matter. You're not going to be a success in America. You look at our HUBCs, how they are closing down. We're losing our black colleges. And we got black billionaires. Black billionaires. Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, and there's one other. 3 among the top 10 billionaires in America are black, of color. There are 10 people of color who are billionaires. You can't tell me that Oprah and Michael and this other person can't get together and keep our colleges open, our black schools open with a checks and balance system. Something is wrong, folks. Just like what's going on up at Howard University. Right to this day, I spoke earlier about President Cheek, how he wanted to be a dictator and not, look out for the students and what was best for those students up there at Howard University. Got rid of Willie Jeffries, one of the great coaches and great human beings. Melvin Lindsay, he chased him away from the school. And right to this day, 2018, Howard University students are boycotting, want the president fired because hundreds of thousands of dollars are missing for funds that was keeping them in college. They kept it a secret for 6 months. You got guys like John Thompson who are pimping his students. His student athletes. He was taking money under the table from his agent, sports agent David Falk. For real. He was making deals in Las Vegas, real estate deals, slot machine deals, all pimping his student athletes. And people say, hey, well, we become jealous of each other, that we can't really call each other out. We got to call each other out. We cannot allow these folks to keep perpetrating a fraud in our community, and it affects our young people, the bottom line. Somebody has to make a sacrifice. You cannot play it safe, black folks. You got to stand up. Because if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And that's what we've been doing in the black community. I never thought in 1960, when I was a freshman at Winston-Salem State University, when those 4 young men at North Carolina A&T, 30 miles down the road, decided that they were going to sit in at Woolworth's 5 and Dime to order food, saying enough was enough. 1960. That boycott eventually moved 30 miles up the road to Winston-Salem. And the first thing that our coach, the legendary Clarence Big House Gaines, my savior, saved my life, all that. First thing he did was call in the athletes to say, I don't want to catch any of you guys downtown at this boycott. Because if I do, I'm going to send you on the first thing spoken back home to the ghetto. I knew who he was talking about. He was talking about those D.C. brothers and New York brothers. Well, I didn't pay any attention. I was joined by my homeboy, Al Mayo, Luther Wally, basketball player from Lynchburg, Virginia, and my main man, Bonnie Hood, jump shooting Bonnie Hood from Decatur, Illinois. We went down to participate in the boycott. 1960. Just think how long that's been. And here we are in 2018, and we still have not overcome. Let's go back to the show and see what's happening.
Success in the black community breeds jealousy, and we need to come together in harmony Also, I really feel, and I'm not paranoid about this at all, but we got to expose those black folks who are stunning the growth of black people. We cannot let them continue to insult our intelligence. That's what I'm saying. We cannot continue to let them insult our intelligence. And that's what they're doing. That's what these black so-called role models and black leaders are doing. I mean, here this town with all this black talent, all these gifted young people have now become the murder capital of the world. Drugs are killing us. AIDS is killing us. And have you read the paper lately about how blacks say we got two nations of health care, one for white and one for black? I mean, that is terrible. USA Today again said a survey of 10,000 people nationwide finds that blacks average 3.4 doctor's visits a year compared with whites with 4.4 and are more likely to be dissatisfied with medical care. It also finds that blacks are less likely than whites to get yearly dental checkups and less likely to visit the doctor when they are chronically or seriously ill. That's why we're dying so fast. We don't have medical care. We don't have any health insurance. And this nation could care less. You said another report notes that 5% of USA med school graduates and 3% of practicing doctors are black. Those blacks make up 12% of the USA's population. A third report concludes many tests of new drugs don't involve enough black subjects, suggesting researchers may lack information to determine the drugs safe for blacks. That is really bad. We want to say a study of 109,000 Massachusetts patients with heart disease found that whites were 29% more likely to undergo a diagnostical angiogram, 89% more likely to get bypass operations than blacks. They said it ended by saying that echoes the Kerner Commission's report of nearly 21 years ago that concluded we were moving toward two nations, one black, one white, separate and unequal. Well, we're in bad shape. We are in bad shape. Because we got people out there who are still playing games on us. Black folks, not only white folks, we know where most of them are coming from, but black folks are playing games on us. Number to call is 462-3313. I'm going to get back to the telephone. Inside Sports, you're on the air.
Hi, Harold Bell. How you doing?
I'm fine. Hey.
I just turned the radio on and I overheard your Martin Luther King and the proposition thing with the colleges coming up. And I just wanted to call and say that Martin Luther King really was a preacher and he stood on the word of God. Now, look at all the slaves and all the way that's been made for blacks all to this time. And you really can't trample on it. People, the young people in this world are going their own way. They're trying to figure it all out themselves. But then again, you got the big black businesses that's making really millions. And really are not giving back to certain organizations, like I said, for Medicare and things, for people who really need help out here. But then again, when blacks get up in these positions, they're not being accepted and helped. They are being cut down, like Proposition 48, and some of the management positions at baseball, business, it's ridiculous. But to break it all down, they have, I'm talking about people as a whole, have no faith in the work that they're doing. You got to have faith no matter how many times you're being knocked down in this life. We black, we got one mark against us. Let's get together and look at what God bring together. Can't no white black man break down.
Thank you very much. Great comment. The number to call is 462-3313. Going back to the telephone. Inside Sports, you're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to say the dream is definitely not dead. And I also like to make a comment on the dream of the black athlete. I think that if we get back to our old values, where we came from, Proposition 48 would not need to be in effect for black athletes to stay at home, meaning our black communities and our black institutions.
is when we decided to go to these large white institutions. Where black athletes begin to be exploited. So if we go back home to our black institutions, the exploitation will stop. And Proposition 48 really needs it, and that be in effect. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're going to take a commercial break, and I'll be right back. The number to call is 462-3313.
Okay, that was a great comment about the black athlete. Our historical black colleges, man, laid the foundation, man, for so many successful careers in law, in medicine, you name it. Some of our greatest talents and assets came out of black colleges. But what happened when the white colleges started raiding the black colleges for these great black athletes and taking them away? We lost a lot, because I was there to watch that. I was there to watch some of the greatest black athletes I ever been around, man. And how Coach Gaines started losing all that great talent he used to be able to go recruit. He recruited through us, former athletes. He wouldn't have to leave. He wouldn't have to leave Winston-Salem sometime. He just get on the phone and call New York, call Philadelphia, call DC, say, Harold, what you got up there? And we were able to send him some great athletes. But the white colleges started taking those black athletes. And what happened? We started losing, man, a lot of revenue, a lot of the talent, man. And when I look back and I look at the black athletes today, a lot of these great athletes would have gone to Division II or III colleges, black colleges, but they went to the white schools. And really, those Division I schools are nothing but plantations, man. They're not doing anything but using our black athlete up, and they're making billions of dollars and not giving anything back. These guys will go one and done. They don't even finish college today. I guess we understand why I say a college education doesn't make any difference today, but these guys going into the pros. And once they get there, another plantation. The NFL is a plantation. And I've been saying this for decades. We have 32 teams, not one black owner. You hear what I'm saying? Not one black owner. 2018. They just tried to do a boycott. And it was going along being a success. Colin Kaepernick took a knee. Erg Reed took a knee. I don't know if you guys know who Erg Reed is, but he's an all-pro safety. Well, guess what? They had the owners where they wanted them. And they got squabbling among themselves. The owners gave them seed money, like $89 million for community programs. They could not decide how they wanted to use that money and start calling each other sellouts. And you know what one owner said? This is what one owner said. He said, when we gave them that money, all I needed to do was sit back and watch them implode. And that's exactly what they did. Yeah. Now Erg Reed can't even find a job. He's a free agent, all pro. He can't find a job because those other players did not stand up. It's all about the dollar bill. If you stay out one game, do you realize how much money that these owners would lose? And you don't think you would bring them to their knees? Come on, brother. Come on, man. See, I'm a pioneer in radio and television sports talk shows. I became a pioneer because I didn't play it safe. I took risks because I understood that if I was going to help my people, I had to take risks. I have broken bread with presidents. I've broken bread with Muhammad Ali. I've broken bread with Red Auerbach, Bert Sugar, Sugar Ray Leonard, Don King. I could be a millionaire myself, but I'm not playing that game if it's not going to help my people. And once they can't buy you, they'll try to ruin you. So I've been blessed. I've helped thousands just through my Christmas toy party. My wife and I have 45 years of Christmas toy parties without grants or loans. You don't think I've been blessed by the man upstairs? I come out of the church. My great-grandfather, Alfred Johnson Tyler, laid the first brick to build Mount Airy Baptist Church at North Capitol and L Street in Northwest Washington in 1893. So I know there's a God because my grandmother would carry us to church 3 or 4 times a week and all day Sunday. But we can't continue to sell each other out and don't say anything. All you got to do is look and see these radio and television personalities that came through Harold Bell before their 15 minutes of fame, and how many of them don't give back. Grant Hill is the latest Hall of Famer, basketball Hall of Famer. His first interview on radio was on Inside Sports with Harold Bell. So, hey man, you just got to believe in yourself. And you got to take risks. You can't play it safe. Let's go back to the show.
But see, from where I come from, the community that I grew up in, respect was earned. We always think that because we have X amount of bucks, that we got a title in front of our names, that we drive a big car, that we know where, that we have invitations to the inaugural, that we got the inside scoop with this guy or that guy, that we should be respected. Respect is earned, it's not given, folks. You got to earn your way. And a lot of us are not earning our way. Like I said, the number to call is 462-3313. Of course, today we're talking about Martin Luther King, whose birthday will be celebrated on Monday. And I'm trying to figure out, is King's dream alive, dead, or is it dying? Can't keep being surprised by what goes on out here. See, in many, many ways, I'm telling you, we're our own worst enemy. Our own worst enemy. I've been out of pocket for about a week. I've been off. I'd like to thank, of course, my producer, Brian. It was for sitting in for me on, of course, my Monday through Friday sports show. He did a great job, as usual. The young man that tells me that the dream is still alive. The young man that I find to be very dependable. Young folks don't have anything on their mind. They've lost their self-esteem. They've lost their self-esteem. No values whatsoever with our young folks out here today. The number to call is 462-3313. And I'm going back to the telephones right now. Inside Sports, you're on the air.
Good morning, praise the Lord. I would just like to say that God is no respecter of persons, and that we should keep our mind on the Lord, and that He can break any barrier for us as a black people, but just not, He's concerned about all people, black, white, pink, purple, whatever color we are. We just need to keep ourselves focused on the Lord, and He will make us succeed in Him. He is to be glorified, and not so much us, but the Lord. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Inside Sports, you're on the air.
Hi, Ryan. How are you doing?
All right.
Listen, I want to agree with your comment. We are on worse enemy.
Turn your radio down, please.
Okay, let me phone you back.
Okay. Okay, the number to call is 462-3313. And of course, we're talking about Martin Luther King today. You know, there was a piece, as you know, just before Christmas, I had given my listeners the inside scoop that Willie Jeffers was on the way back to South Carolina State. And it's a big loss to the Washington community to lose an outstanding coach, an outstanding human being. The guy has been really a credit to this community, to himself, and to Howard University. And there are now reports that Howard University didn't really try to encourage this man to stay. See, the problem really of Howard University, and you have to understand Coach Jeff and where he's coming from. Like many of us, who want security? And really there's no security with the type of people that you have to encounter on Howard University, the game type playing folks. So Coach Jeff decided to go back home, not because of such an outstanding contract, but he wanted to go back to be with people that he trusted and could rely on. He didn't have to worry about a president thinking that he was the president of the United States instead of Howard University that he had no access to. He had to go through somebody else to get the word to the president. See, that's what happens at Howard University with Dr. Cheeks. See, he thinks he's the president of the United States instead of Howard University. He doesn't have the personal touch with his people up there that he should. So I can understand why Coach Jeff has returned to South Carolina State. That is a bad and a terrible loss for this town. The same thing happened to Melvin Lindsay up there when he had to leave WHUR. They didn't want to pay him because they didn't want to pay him more than cheap. President kicked the head, and nobody on his campus will make more money than me. Not looking at the type of revenue that a guy like Melvin Lindsay was able to bring the station. It is important. See, we keep going on these ego trips. I'm telling you. Say, hey, man, give a man what he's worth. Jeff could work a 10-year contract up there, a 20-year contract. He brought the program back and made it a national program. Got to fight for him tickets now to get up there to see a Howard University football game. I remember one time they were out trying to give tickets away. We had a lot of problems. The number to call is 462-3313. And believe me, that's our loss with Coach Jeff leaving. Inside Sports, you're on the air.
Harold?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I think that the dream is still alive. It must be because of your show. So I was just thinking, talking with my friend, and it must be alive because people have different opinions and people are still actively thinking. Thank you.
Thank you. The number to call is 462-3313. Inside Sports, you're on the air.
Yeah, I'd like to make a call on a dream, on Martin Luther King's dream. Well, I'm young myself. I just turned 20. And I'll be honest with you, the dream is not alive among the young people. But as far as concerned, the older generation that was around when the marches were going on, it's still alive. But like you said, I'll be honest with you, the youngins don't have nothing on their minds but making that money on the streets, buying them BMWs, and selling more drugs to the rest of the brother man. So that's all it's about. It's a shame.
How do you feel about, of course, the leadership that we have in our communities, not only in Washington, D.C., but around the country? Are they setting the type of example for young people that you think they should?
No. Alex, just like you brought me, when you made the comments about the John Thompson and it's like the Dexter Manley, they're not really, it's like they're not concerned. You know, I really thought about that. And then I think about it, it comes to be the truth. You know, they're not really doing that. It's more of a front. And they're not really getting out there doing this thing. It's like they do it for the publicity.
That's right.
Not for the brother man himself. And it's true. I just really thought about it. And because I found, you know, that's the truth.
Amen. Thank you very much for that comment. And we keep on keeping up, amen. The number to call is 462-3313. And that young man, I mean, it's easy to read. I can't understand why we are keeping our eyes closed at what's going on around. Now, you can say the same thing about Dexter Manley. Here's a guy that can't have any self-esteem or any value for black folks. To go do a show with a guy called Grease Man who said that kill 6 more blacks and then we'll have a week off. We got 1 day off with Martin Luther King, so kill 6 more blacks. Could you see me going and sitting down in a studio doing a sports show with a cracker like that? Knowing how he feels about me and my people? I can't understand, but y'all always want to make me the bad guy. The truth is the light. The truth will set you free. Man, we got a lot of problems. But don't be blindsided of what you read in the newspaper. Now, watching the postcards all over the nation, black folks could pick that paper up and say, wow, boy, John Thompson is really doing it. John Thompson ain't doing nothing but faking, folks. Nothing but faking. The number to call is 462-3313. Inside Sports, you're on the air.
Mr. Bell.
Yeah.
Good morning. I'm glad that you're out there and your voice is being heard. And I just want to encourage you to keep up the good work. And I think that a lot of blacks just don't have the compassion to help other blacks. I just think about those who have made it in the sports world and other professionals. They don't reach back to put nothing back in the black community, economically or otherwise, to help bring the blacks out of the dilemma that they're in. So it's a whole lot of selfishness on the part of blacks. Once they arrive on their pinnacle, they forget all about where they were and where they came from. Mm-hmm. So they don't reach back to put anything back in the black community to help change the picture and the plight that other blacks are in.
You know what? But you know what really disturbs me? That's a good point too. Because growing up the way I did in Northeast Washington in Parkside, a housing project, and even though we didn't have anything, we had a great feel for each other. We cared about each other. It seemed like integration just took all that away from us. How do you feel about that?
Yes, sir. I agree 100%. The Word of God tells us that Jesus came to his own. And I think that my first obligation, I'm not prejudiced or anything. Mm-hmm. I'm concerned about all humanity. Mm-hmm. But my first priority should be to help my own. We find that true in every other ethnic group of people, that they work together in helping them, their own people. And so many blacks are looking for other people to do what we need to do for ourselves. Mm-hmm. So we need to really educate young blacks the importance of reaching back and helping each other because we so divided. We see among the Vietnamese, the Koreans, and other Oriental people how they work together as a unit, mm-hmm. and how they help one another. Mm-hmm. And it's just a missing ingredient in the black community. Right. We are our own worst enemy. We pull against each other. We hold each other down. We talk each other down. Mm-hmm. And I'm a black businessman in the black community, and it's very difficult to get black people to support their own black businesses. Mm-hmm. If you know it, here northeast on Blackburn Road, there's I guess a Korean, no, it's a Chinese place. And 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you can't hardly get in that place. It's here to limit. Mm-hmm. And it's black people supporting other ethnic groups. Mm-hmm. And it's a sad situation to see that blacks will have no initiative for helping each other.
Yeah. Okay, we get some kind of interference, but I'd like to thank you for that comment, and please keep the dream alive, yeah?
All right.
All right. The number to call is 462-3313, and of course, we're talking about Martin Luther King, and of course, the dream. Is it alive, dead, or dying? And, one of the things that I hopped on last week, of course, was the omission of Willie Wood and John Mackey from the Hall of Fame in the last few years. Guys who have been nominated and have continually to be passed over. It was nice to see last night. I was watching, I think it was ESPN, when Where Are They Now? They brought up the case on John Mackey and how he has been blackballed. This guy who's voted the tight end of the century and set the standards for tight ends. But because he stood up to be a man, he had the nerve to be a man in the National Football League. They will punish him by keeping him out of the Hall of Fame. The same thing with Willie Wood, one of the greatest safeties to ever play the game. A guy who was a pioneer, became the first black modern-day head football coach with the Philadelphia Bell in the World Football League, and of course went on to Canada to become the first head coach up there. guy's a pioneer. You got to stop and think, people. You don't read anything because, just like Dave Winfield said, they don't care anything about our history. Have you seen the Washington Post or the Times or anybody write anything on Willie Wood or John Mackey and why they're being kept out of the Hall of Fame? Especially Willie Wood, who was from this town. All Met, All American, first black coach at the University of Southern Cal. So we ain't just talking about no regular, everyday athletes and black folks. We're talking about exceptional people who deserve their just due. Got these black folks in the media, man. It's terrible, man. No guts, no balls. Do anything, man, that's going to help another people or another person. Number to call is 462-3313. Another thing, folks, we got to stop being surprised by what we see is going on out there. Can't be surprised. You really can't. You just got to keep on pumping, keep on pushing. They're really, really hurting us. Okay, the number to call is 462-3313. We'll take a commercial break, and I'll be right back.
Well, once again, they're always saying, that you're an angry black man, that when you speak up and tell the truth, you're a troublemaker. And but what they really do is they steal our ideas, and they go to the bank and we don't. Just like the Washington Post stole Inside Sports from me, a tag given to me by my wife at the dinner table. Inside Sports columnists and writers and sports editors were frequent guests on my show. But still, and plus I knew the owner, Donald Graham. But still, they took Inside Sports and made it their own. They weren't professional enough to say, well, let's pick up the phone and call her and let him know that we know he don't have the copyrights to it, and we'd like to buy the title and make it ours. No, they just take it and go to New York. Katharine Graham and Donald Graham, all of them were in on it. George Solomon. And they came up with Inside Sports Magazine in 1979. I had been on the air for 9 years, and I had written stories for the Washington Post. I was topic in several stories myself, so it wasn't like they didn't know who Harold Bell was, but they didn't care because this is how this has been their mode of operation, man, for hundreds of years. They just take. The Washington Post lost millions of dollars because they didn't know how to transfer what was transferred on Inside Sports on radio to a print media. They lost millions of dollars, but they could afford it. They could afford it. They just took Inside Sports. But that's how it goes. But when you speak out and say something, you are a angry black man. And I will never forget when we talk about angry black men. I think about Morley Safer on 60 Minutes. He was interviewing Arthur Mitchell, the founder of the Dance Theater of Harlem. And Arthur was on there, talking about all these blacks, rich blacks and famous blacks, and how he was trying to keep this great theater together with these great students. And he just didn't have the money, but he couldn't get any help from black superstars. He couldn't get help. They wouldn't give him any money. So Morley Safer looked at him and said, Arthur, you sound like you're angry. And Arthur Mitchell didn't miss a beat. He looked right back at Morley Safer and said, look, you show me a black man or woman who's not angry about the status of black America, and I will show you a black man and woman who need to see a psychiatrist. So yes, I'm angry because I see my people selling us out, selling us out. So, you know, what we got to realize, and our kids, I think, are going to have to take the lead like they're doing. But we got to understand, man, about politics and politicians. For example, in PG County, they get ready to go and elect another county executive. In Washington, D.C., we got Marion Bowser as the mayor. In PG County, what they don't realize is that the county executive doesn't have any power. They have power over poor people. You understand? And people in their class, they got power over them. But the real power comes from Annapolis, Maryland, from the halls of the Capitol in Annapolis, Maryland. That's where the real power lies. They control what goes on in PG County. In Washington, the feds control what goes on in Washington, not Miriam Bowser. So yes, long road ahead. Let's go back and close out Inside Sports and the topic, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King in his dream. Is he dead or alive?
Take up the show. Inside Sports, you're on air. Okay, we missed that call. The number to call. See, that's one thing. You got to be able to deal with a show like this. You got to be able to deal with criticism, constructive criticism and destructive criticism. And here's a brother say that we shouldn't expose people like John Thompson or the president of Howard University. Go ahead and let them continue to do the things that they're doing to black folks. Because that's what's really killing us. But don't expose them. Go ahead and go ahead and support them. Go ahead and support them. You shouldn't expose them to everybody. Keep on letting them make fools of us. That's ridiculous, man. You know, that's ridiculous. The number to call is 462-3313. Inside Sports, you're on the air.
Hi, Ron. How you doing?
All right, this is Harold.
Okay. That dream is neither dead nor alive. I believe the dream is simply on hold. It's being deferred.
Okay.
But it will be deferred until we as black people realize that we're responsible for our own destiny.
That's right.
We cannot blame the white man for all our troubles. We have to not rely on national leaders, but we've got to rely on the community, on individuals. We have to bring back the family. We have to reestablish the black man as the head of the household.
Okay.
It's interesting to know that since Washington is the crime capital of the world, that crime involves black on black crime.
Thank you.
We've got to get back to the roots. Also, this is one thing that troubles me. The church is the wealthiest segment of the black community. Within the church, you have doctors, teachers, postmen, just average people. None of those people reach out. With all the money that the church creates, where does it go? It goes to the church to reestablish the church.
That's part of the problem. That's part of the problem, brother. But other brothers ain't want this call. They don't want you exposing those kind of folks. They want you to continue to let them do the type of things that they're doing to us and ignore it. So they don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear the truth as long as it's about somebody else. But when it's about oneself, they don't want to deal with it. I thank you for your comment.
I'll never forget a program I saw on PBS about two churches in Detroit opposite one another on the street corner. One was a large church. The other was a street corner church. Within that street corner church, it provided meals to poor people. It had clothing. On the other corner, that huge monstrous church with all of these people, with all of this wealth, did absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
Thank you very much, brother. All right. Inside Sports, please make it short. We got to get out of here.
Good morning, Mr. Bell. I'd just like to say the dream is alive and to invite everyone to the Martin Luther King Day Parade on Martin Luther King Avenue, where Doug Williams and Robin Williams will be honorary Grand Marshals.
Okay, thank you very much, honey. Okay, hey, once again, I want to thank all of you that for calling in. You know, it doesn't make any difference who you support or how you support them. I think what we need to do is start doing things, actions speak louder than words, you know? And we got to go out there and do our part. Don't continue to let these people pull the wool over your eyes. That's what I'm saying. And as I always say every Saturday, and I really mean this, that every black face you see is not your brother, and every white face is not your enemy. Until Monday morning at 8:25, you can color Harold Bell gone.
Okay, that was 1988. And this is 2018. 30 years later. Did you listen to those comments of some of those people? Yes. Hey, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Did you hear the last caller? She said the grand marshals for the Martin Luther King Day on Martin Luther King Avenue over in Southeast Washington. And that's another thing. Look at where all these Martin Luther King boulevards and avenues are located. Just take a time out. Just do research. But anyway, she was saying the Grand Marshal was going to be Robin Williams, the vocalist, and Doug Williams, the first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. Guess what? Both of those people came through Inside Sports before Doug Williams became a winning Super Bowl black quarterback. He came through Inside Sports and Harold Bell. Robin Sugar Williams, the same thing. So I'm saying, and Doug, he was recently named Vice President of Player Personnel for the Washington Redskins. That's a big title, right? And he got upset because of a story in the Washington Post. Evidently, some folks have been talking about him, that he's nothing more than another Bobby Mitchell. Bobby Mitchell, one of the great football players for the Washington Redskins in the NFL Hall of Fame. But Bobby, they jumped all over Bobby. They made him a gopher. And Doug Williams said he is not a gopher. Don't put him in the same category as Bobby Mitchell. But recently, guess what happened? The general manager and the coach did a deal for a quarterback out of Kansas City and never told Doug Williams about it. Called Doug on the phone and said, Doug, don't answer your phone till tomorrow morning. Now, if this man is the vice president of player personnel, why isn't he in on the deal for this quarterback that they're bringing from Kansas City? Evidently, they don't think they can trust him. They don't want him to know. So, Doug, yeah, you just got a title, baby. It's up to you to make them respect you. They're not going to give it, Doug. You will have to take it. Well, that's going to be it for this particular program, The Legends of Inside Sports and the Way We Were. And I want you to remember, just like I said, every black face you see is not your brother, and every white face is not your enemy. Until next time, I'm Harold Bell, and you can color me gone.
And
this was for the brothers who ain't here.
For Shaka Harrison found strangled in his crib after coming home from a black Neoport meet. And from a man Larry Witherspoon, remember Larry? Yeah. He worked his way through college, then he tried to marry some Caucasian woman. Too bad, she was the orphan's daughter. So this is for the brothers who ain't here. For the strong brothers listening in action. For the brothers, that's right, the brothers who ain't here. The brothers who ain't here. For the brothers,